So welcome back to actually the first case was supposed to be of last week's video. So funny story. The phone that I had to usually record my videos and do everything else on that phone just decided to glitch on me out of nowhere on like a Thursday, and I already had like one video recorded, and I think that was the Lululemon murders. Since I already had that video recorded, I was trying to figure out, go ahead and edit it real quick before the phone just completely gives up on me. Because I know once it starts glitching and like starts acting weird, it's only a matter of time before it's just basically done for. So like, I hurry up, edit the video, I get it to YouTube, I have it scheduled for Friday. So yeah, not even an hour after that video was uploaded and I made sure it was up on YouTube and everything, sure enough, the phone just completely went to lines and not even able to like see anything. I still was able to charge it, but you know, it pretty much seemed pretty much useless. So I pretty much had to go buy a new phone, which is the phone I'm recording on now. So yeah, it's pretty much been a hectic weekend. I thought I was locked out of my email because, so when I had to transfer all my stuff, I guess I thought I knew my email password, but didn't. And so because I couldn't remember like any of my email passwords, I guess the correct ones, and I had to temporarily go under a new phone number. And so because I couldn't have access to the phone number or our recovery email, I basically couldn't do anything. And so if it wasn't for my fiance basically like memorizing my email passwords, I wouldn't have been able to get into like any of my emails, and I would have to start a whole new email. I would probably have to start a whole new murder channel. It would have been a hassle, and I wouldn't try to deal with that. So yeah, so that's how my week has been going. So this case we're actually going to talk about actually comes out straight out of Chicago. I know I keep covering a lot of Chicago cases, but you know, y'all keep doing shit in Chicago, so that's why we gotta keep covering them. Basically, let's just go and get started.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So one thing I hear about this case is that we know the day of the birth of the mother, but we don't know the victim's date of birth. But if we're estimating, it'll be about 2011. So, but it could be late 2010 too. So like I said, I hate that we don't know his date of birth. And so, like, there's no obituary I can find, like nothing. So basically, let's see here. We're gonna start with the mom, the mother of our victim. Tylesha G. Griffin was born on March 18th, 1992 or 82. And then, like I said, we don't know the date of birth of the victim. But she would eventually get with Danielle Sr., who was the father. And of course, Danielle Jr. will be obviously the son. So, just to clarify. And so in 2011, when apparently Danielle was just a couple months old, apparently there was like there was an investigation because of allegations of child abuse, and I guess like the investigation came back closed, so they basically just went on about their day. Well, and so the mother would sadly apparently be beating Danielle 2 to 3 times a day with an adult cousin, Dominique, that apparently was watching. I don't know if she lived there or I guess was just there just to be there. They had noticed that prior to a week to his death, because like I told you in the beginning, Danielle is sad on our victim, he would stop eating. And also, apparently, the mother, Tylesha, I don't even care if I pronounce her name right at this point, she gave permission to Dominique to basically be her child. And so, on the fateful day of November 7th, 2014, Tylesha and Danielle Sr. went to go meet with Danielle Sr.'s parole officer while he was on parole. I don't even know the crime he committed because that apparently is not publicly known, but apparently he was on parole. So then, of course, Dominique is obviously babysitting because Danielle Jr. is like 3 years old, so obviously he's a babysitter. And while she is babysitting him, she apparently has her foot on him, and apparently she is hitting him with her hand, a belt, and an extension cord, simply for not knowing the alphabet. So when the parents get home, they find that Danielle is found with vomit in his mouth. They apparently clean him up and tuck him into bed. The trio, so Tylesha, Dominique, and Danielle Sr. apparently got some weed, and they all went and smoked it by Danielle Jr.'s corpse, because at this point it's believed that he is dead. The mother does not call 911 until hours later, so obviously Danielle obviously dead by this point. So Danielle had more than 100 injuries to his legs, butt, arm, chest, and basically everywhere on his body. He also had marks on him that were consistent with being bound. So it's believed that during multiple points of his short life, he was sadly tied up. And his left arm actually had a gaping wound with rotted muscle and skin. It's believed that had he survived, which sadly he didn't, but had he survived, this would have most likely had his left arm would have had to been amputated due to that's how bad it was. And to make it even worse, he also had missing hair from his head. So it's believed that the hair was obviously pulled because obviously how else is gonna it wasn't all missing. It was just missing certain areas. So then to make it even worse, they looked through the mother's phone and they found pictures of him naked, apparently with injuries on his legs and back. Danielle Jr.'s two siblings will be taken into DCFS custody under some sort of protection plan. Tylesha and Dominique will be held without bond. Danielle Sr. will be held on bond, but it's like $500,000. And then Tylesha. So altogether, sources say that Tylesha was actually sentenced to 16 years in jail, 14 years for aggravated battery to a child, and the other 2 are for weed possession. And what happened to Dominique and Danielle Sr., I don't even know. If they somehow got acquitted, if they testified against Tylesha and somehow managed to, get charges dropped, I feel like it would have said that. Or maybe their trials are still pending as to why they I can't find anything about them. And so of course, if you know anything about the story, if you know whether they're in jail, whether they're awaiting trial, whether they got acquitted, please let us know. And so that is all I sadly have for this story. And so yeah, that'll be that for the first episode for this week of Fair Friday. And I'll see you with the next one.
With the play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this